After completion of the medium tier of the Western Provinces Achievement Diary, we can now move on to the hard tier. This is the more important one, as this is the one that will enable us to get the Elite Void and the Crystal Halberd. However, before we can get started on the actual diary tasks themselves, we're geared up in our Rogue's outfit because we need to get 75 thieving. We're currently at 73. This is because one of the tasks is to pickpocket a gnome. Other than that, I think we have all the requirements. So let's just knock out 75 thieving real quick. We're doing the thieving method here in Varlamore. It is slower EXP, but it is much lower intensity, which is what I prefer right now, so we're just going to be knocking that out here. Just hit 74 thieving, one more level to go. This is quite some time later, but we are just under 40,000 EXP to go until we hit the 75. And from that point on, we can just knock out all the Western Provinces hard diary tasks, and then head back to Pest Control and get our Elite Void. So when I first log in, I typically do the farming contract and a birdhouse run on both respective accounts. Well, when I logged in, I was in the middle of a Zaya rune crafting session. I had some of these dense essence blocks in my inventory, and I was like, you know what, let me just finish the run, right, and then go teleport to the farming guild. But I've since done 2 inventories, and I just keep mindlessly coming back to the dense runestone here to mine more. So now I gotta finish yet another inventory, and hopefully pay enough attention this time to TP out. I want to know if this is just something that happens to me, or if you guys do this too, where you just, you're supposed to TP out, but you just keep doing the same thing over and over again. Varlamore thieving is so chill, this crept up on me. Last time I checked, I was 30,000 EXP away, but here we are, 75 thieving. There we go, you can now steal from gem stalls and pickpocket from gnomes. So we can now get started on the diary tasks. A little while ago, we were here in Beleti and we planted a palm tree seed, which is now fully grown. So we just checked the health on that, and that is the first task completed. I don't quite remember why we did the quest swan song, but we had that out the way already, and we're here just to fish some monkfish. Okay, we got the monkfish, and now we're supposed to cook it. We only caught the one, so hopefully we don't burn this. And first try. Next task is to catch a dashing kebbit. So we got a falcon on us, and or I think we do. Yeah, we do. Dashing kebbit. Can't seem to find one. Oh no, there it is. And that task is completed. And here's the reason why we needed 75 thieving. Next task is to simply teleport to Ape Atoll. If I can find the teleport. Oh, it's right here. It's a level 64 spell. Ape Atoll teleport. Kind of a weird thing, because I didn't have the Gree on me and I didn't complete Monkey Madness 2 yet. I couldn't actually get out of that area, so I had to TP out, and then we're going to head back to the Gnome Stronghold and get back to Ape Atoll that way. So we're still on Ape Atoll right now, and that's because we have to chop a mahogany tree for a log and then burn it. If I actually read the diaries ahead of time, I probably could have knocked this task out last time I was here for the teak log. But there's a log, and let's light it. That is the task. I always hate navigating through this forest, but here we are, we just gotta mine some addy ore. I seem to have alked all my rune pickaxes, so we're working with an adamant one right now. Any day now. There we go, that took like 30 seconds. The next task is to kill an elf with a crystal bow, and this just reminded me earlier when we first did roving elves, and I couldn't decide between the crystal bow or the crystal shield. Only to realize that because I'm a 50 defense account, I can't even use the crystal shield. We're currently here at Pest Control in the veteran boat, which requires at least level 100 combat. We're not going to camp it, we're just going to do the one game for the diary task, and then we will come back later to grind out the points needed for Elite Void. Novice boat, intermediate boat, veteran boat, nothing has changed. I'm still getting my shit rocked in here. But there's plenty of people in here, we should be able to get the completion, no problem. Last portal. And there it is. 7 points. Very nice. That's the veteran boat in combination with the medium combat achievements. I didn't have any mahogany planks on me, so we're going to have to turn these 3 logs into planks. And then we're going to have to head over to the Falador Castle to buy a painting for our POH. Just have to talk to this old man real quick and ask him for the painting. I believe it's the landscape one. And yep. A whopping 2,000 coins it cost me. Anyways, we have the hammer and saw on us. Let's teleport to our house. This is kind of a funny sight. For an Ironman at 1739 total and 70 construction. Typically, their house wouldn't look like this, but as a product of being a GIM and just using my other account's house all the time, this is what my house looks like. Anyways, we just need to put down a quest haul real quick, if I can find it. Here it is. It cost me 25,000 GP. There it is, and where is the painting slot? There it is. I was beginning to think for a second there that I made the wrong room and just wasted some GP. Alright, that is the task completed. Now the last step here is the 300 Chompy Bird KCs. We last left off on 126 from doing the mediums. Got out of my own terrible house and back into the luxurious POH that has everything in it. Before we get started on the Chompy Bird hunting, let me just update you guys real quick on the birdhouses. I realized this was something I did very frequently early on, and I haven't really checked in with it in a while. And that's because nothing has really changed. We're currently 7,700, still far away from upgrading to redwoods, and I've really slowed down on upkeeping the birdhouses. I still try to do them where I can, but by no means am I doing them on cooldown currently. We're back just south of Castle Wars at the Swamp Bubble spot here. We're going to fill up these bellows and get started on the Chompy Birds. Actually had to hop a few worlds this morning, seems like a lot of people are here. The Chompy Bird grind is definitely brutal and slow at first, but as you can see, there's tons of Chompy Birds out right now, and I just got started. It definitely gets better and better as you do the diaries. And if you're doing this grind yourself, don't sleep on making brutal arrows. These actually make such a big difference. Because I had to hop worlds before I started this grind, I'm able to tell how long I've been doing this and how many KC I've done. So we're just under 7 minutes roughly. And like I said, we started at 126 KC today, and we're already up to 150. So this shouldn't take too long. I was going to check in just as we hit 200 Chompy Bird KC, but a whole wave of them just spawned in. So now we're under 100 KC to go until we're out of here. If I have been tracking correctly, this should be the final KC. And there we go, 300. Let's get out of here. Let's get back to rants. If we ever go for a Western Elite, we're going to need another whopping 700 KC. Even with the increased rates, that's going to take quite a bit longer. Anyways, let's talk to Rants here. We're going to get a couple more Chompy hats. Show him the bow. We're actually going to have to make room for this too, actually. Oh, you know what? I've been dropping these hats, and I think I need to collect all of them. Otherwise, he just keeps giving me the first couple of ones. Alright, I dropped some bellows, made some room, and now we have like 5-6 new Chompy Bird hat collection logs. And it's still going. But that is Western Provinces hard complete. Let's claim our Western Banner 3 and the EXP lamp from the Elder Gnome Child. Truth be told, I've never actually made use of the banner. I'm not even sure where exactly it TPs you to. Let's find out. What? Why would I ever want to TP here? Anyways, let's use the lamp on Slayer as we have been doing. Oh, this is a 15,000 EXP. Slayer EXP lamp. Very nice. We're almost 60 Slayer, actually. Anyways, with the Western Hard Diaries out the way, let's head back to Pest Control and get ourselves Elite Void. I actually don't have the Mage or Melee helm yet, but to be honest, they're not very useful, and I'm only going to do the minimal amount of Pest Control right now, as I'm just not really all that up for it. I'll probably knock out more combat achievements and get a higher tier so that we get more points per game, and then that's when we'll return for the Mage and Melee helmet. I was making my way over to Pest Control, but I minigame teleported to the wrong location. Instead of Pest Control, I TP'd to Nightmare Zone. I guess it's just because I've been here a lot recently. You know, without the minigame teleport, I actually don't remember how you get to Pest Control. I know it's by ship, but I don't know if it's charter ship or what. So I'm gonna have to look that up actually. Okay, we are here at Port Sarim. We gotta look for a squire. I think he's somewhere towards the south of the port. There he is. So at the outpost or pest control, there's a very specific NPC that you have to talk to for Elite Void Knight. Looks like he's just right next to the bank. And we're checking in with them just to check on how many points we actually need. It looks like we're going to need 200 points per item. So if I'm not mistaken, we're going to need 600 points, and that's because of the Void Knight gloves, the Void Knight robes, and the Void Knight robe top. I've hopped to the pest control world, and we're just about ready to get started. I'm going to go over the gear real quick. As you've seen, I'm in Blue Moon gear. I've got my Blue Moon spear as well. This guy's just standing in front of me. Okay, out of all possible tiles you could stand on, you're going to stand right there. Okay. Anyways, we are on the Ancient Spellbook, and we're going to be casting Ice Burst. I think we're going to get a decent amount of Mage EXP here, as the mobs tend to clump up at the portals. And we desperately need Magic EXP, as we are only 83 Magic. Oh, and the amount of points we are starting with is 14. So we're going to need another 586. At 7 points per game, we're going to have to do 83.7 games. Now, obviously, we can't do 0.7 of a game, so really 84 games until we have enough points for Elite Void. The Mage EXP isn't the best here. There are just like small moments where there's a lot of mobs clumped up like this, where I do get a decent amount of EXP. But other than that, you know, some EXP is better than no EXP. I'm not really interested in training melee stats right now, as there's no rush for that. And our range levels, we're currently at 93, and I can easily get range EXP by using the Venator bow in Nightmare Zone like we have been doing. Another note is that now that we have access to the Veteran bow, these games are going by a lot quicker. People seem to know how to do the game mode more, and they're just better equipped. So knocking out these 84 games, or whatever I said it was, shouldn't take too long. After we get Elite Void, we will be moving on to something that's going to be more Magic EXP focused. And I'll get into that when we get there. But for right now, let's just lock in on getting these pest control points over with and getting Elite Void. I think we're roughly halfway there in terms of the points. Unfortunately, the Magic EXP has not been all that great. I thought it would be a little bit better. Also, absolutely nothing has changed as far as whenever I get targeted by any of the mobs, I just get absolutely decimated. I think after this game, I'm going to make the switch to probably range gear. Just because I still need range EXP anyways, and it's cheaper. I'm not really getting as much value as I would like with the ice bursting here. Alright, we're just rocking the Void set with our quiver and a magic short bow. I'm going to be using some amethyst arrows, we have plenty of those. And let's get these 300 or so points remaining. Very important update, we are now at 420 pest control points, so 180 to go. You definitely see some very interesting characters at Pest Control. Like, look at this guy in Void with a strength cape, and I don't even know what simi that is. It's not a rune simi or a dragon. I think it might have been a mithril or addy. And then you have this guy in full Missouri and Pegasians, but he's using a magic shortbow. There you have a guy in Inquisitors with an obby cape and an elder maul. Now this guy looks a little bit more normal. He's in crystal with his bofa, but why is he wearing prims? And this guy's just naked with his Artie Cloak 1 and a Dragon Simi. You just know this guy's an Iron Man without even looking him up. We have a guy here in full Virtus with a Nightmare Staff, and he has a Artie Cape on. I swear, you won't see these combinations of gear anywhere else. There's a guy rocking a Myth Cape right now up ahead. Wait, I thought that was a Myth Cape, but it's not. What is that? Legends Cape? No. What is that? On the boat waiting to get into the final game that we're going to have to do. We're currently at 595 points. 7 points is going to put us at 602. And that is more than enough to get our Elite Void. That is the final pest control game completed. Albeit, it's not our last forever. Like I said before, we're going to have to come back for the melee and mage helm eventually. Or maybe we don't, I don't know. I mean, where are we going to use those, really? Anyways, let's talk to the Elite Void Knight over here. And yes, we would like to upgrade our Void set 200 points per piece, and I guess I have to unequip it. Here we go. Boom, there goes the top. Can I just right click use it? Yes. Nice. There goes the row bottoms. Wait. The gloves can't be upgraded? Did I just get 200 extra points? Am I tripping? I am indeed tripping. You would think after playing this game for thousands of hours and having Elite Void set on, I don't know, at least one previous account, maybe two accounts, I would know, right? But this entire time I was thinking, yeah, you turned the Void Knight gloves into the Elite ones too. And it was only the helmets that you didn't have to turn into Elite. But turns out it's just the top and the row bottoms. Honestly, kind of embarrassing behavior. And I should probably cut this out of the video, but you know what? I'm going to put it in. Well, the silver lining is, at least we're 200 points closer to getting the Mage and Melee helmet one day. Anyways, now that we have the Elite Void range set, I can now use it to train my range in Nightmare Zone with the Venator bow. Now, I haven't actually ran any numbers to find out whether using the Eclipse set or Void is going to be better for the Venator bow in Nightmare Zone, but regardless, I'd be using the Elite Void anyways because I just want to save on those moon set charges. Anyways, now that we have this out the way, we're going to set our sights on getting our magic levels up. We will be working on that next.